Hi, I'm Coach Nicole from SparkPeople.com. I'm going to show you another one of my favorite strength training exercises. These two exercises actually are great for the inner and outer thigh. You'll need a resistance band and an aerobic step with at least one set of risers. So you might be able to do this at your gym or at home if you have these pieces of equipment. So we're going to start with the step setup and thread your band all the way underneath there, and then we're going to take a seat at the very edge of your step. Make sure your band is nice and centered there so you've got equal amounts of resistance on both sides. Then I'm going to take my handle onto my foot with the handle or plastic part down on the sole of the foot, and then that fabric part up on the top of the foot, and then give your foot a nice little push through so it's nice and secure and isn't going to come off your feet. Make sure you sit at the edge and then roll all the way down. You can lay on a mat on top of your step if you want to. So we want to start with the knees about in line with the hips. Extend those legs all the way up. See, I'm keeping the knees slightly bent and the toes pointed directly back behind me. Abs are engaged. I'm going to lower the legs out to the sides as far as I can go with control and then pull them back in. Inhaling as the legs separate and exhaling as they pull in. On this exercise, you're working the inner thigh to pull that resistance and your legs together. So I like to do a few like this, just singles, lowering out and bringing it back in nice and slow. Then after a few of those, I like to change the pace a little to a 2 count out, 2 count in, which is a little more challenging. You've got a little pause at each of those counts. Notice my legs are still in line with the hips, not lowering towards the floor underneath me at all. So then I'll do a quick set of those, always trying to keep going without resting. And then after I've done a set of those double count legs in and out, then I like to take it out to the sides and just hold. Here, this is an isometric exercise to work those inner thighs. You want to make sure you're breathing. You'll start to feel it really begin to burn. Your legs might shake a little. That's okay. It's really working. Keep those knees slightly bent. And then I like to finish that exercise with a few tiny little pulses up and down, exhaling as I lift up and engage the inner thigh, and inhale as I lower down. To finish, just bring the legs together, your knees back down, and sit it up. Now I'm going to show you one more exercise. You want to take the band off of the feet, carefully there, and then pull the band back out from underneath your step. This one's going to work the outer thigh. I'm going to hold onto the handles and place my feet right there at the very center of that band, still making sure I'm sitting at the edge before I roll back. And lift the knees in line with the hips, extend the legs up. Now once again, I'm keeping the knees slightly bent and my toes pointed directly back behind me. Here, it's the same movement. This time I'm pushing out against that resistance and then bringing the legs back together. Exhaling to push out and work the outer thigh. Inhaling to slowly bring it back in. So you can adjust the intensity of this exercise by changing the position of your feet. I'm really close to the center now. If I were to move my feet further apart towards those handles, I have less resistance. This is easier. The more I bring it to the center, the harder it is, the more I have to push against. So again, I like to do a few singles like this, always keeping the legs in line with the hips and the knees bent. Then I again like to do the 2 counts out, 2 counts in, nice and slow with a little pause at each of those points. A few more of those. And then just like the exercise before, I finish this one by pushing out as hard as I can and holding that isometric exercise right there, really working the outer thigh. You'll feel those legs shake a little bit and that's okay. And then finish with a tiny controlled pulse. Make sure you're breathing throughout this exercise and keeping the abs engaged. And once you reach that fatigue, you really feel that outer thigh working, just bring those legs back together, your knees in towards your chest, and sit it right back up. So there you have it. 2 of my favorite exercises for the inner and outer thigh. For more fitness ideas, visit SparkPeople.com.